Hello, and welcome back to Wario Land Shake It, in which Wario's butt's not the only thing jiggling like jelly, so is the jungle, the Jiggle Jungle. The Jiggle Jungle also twerking for us, which is a difficult concept to imagine. The jungle twerking, I guess maybe like trees blowing in the wind, the tide coming in on the shore. Perhaps that whirlpool. Who is to say what twerking means for a landmass? But in the Jiggle Jungle is the Ropey Jungle. It's jungles all the way down in this difficult, trying concept I have provided for you. So our missions for the Ropey Jungle are to finish before the clock hits 145, collect 50,000 coins, and don't defeat any enemies, which is a prime example of a interesting mechanic mission, whatever. Level mission that really changes up the way you play. Because, you know, in none of the Wario Land games has anyone ever said, hey, Wario, calm thine tits, just chill. Take the aggression down a couple hundred levels. Be friends with the enemies. I mean, they're literally called enemies. And even in the level mission, that's like, don't defeat them. They're still referred to enemies. It's not like they've become our friends or anything. It's just that we don't want to defeat them. It's not like they're our friends. And one could even argue that these weakling bandoneros now hold more power than ever now that we've been told don't defeat them, because you know they're so fragile and weak. For a big strong man like Wario, they're like nothing. It's like the Superman thing, like Superman's famous quote where he's like, "I live in a world of cardboard, and I am Wario. I am so strong. I eat the cardboard." Or you know, his quote. He says it a lot. It's just the thing he says. This is a nice room here where they have like different art for like this little bonus room you come in. And it's just like, you know, it's just a bag of treasure. Like it's just a bag of money. It's not like it is a treasure. I ended up saying the words in the wrong order. Whoops. Let go. So, you know, it's not like anything like super special, but it's just nice to come into this like this kind of low-key room and just enjoy what's going on. So we have ropes. We have ropes on tracks. This is Mario Maker. And by that I mean no way to steal ideas from Wario Land Shake It, Mario Maker. So, you know, we're just going to have a good time. We got ropes on tracks. We got things to climb on. I would normally say grating, but it's not... Well, grating as in a grate, not like, oh, this is grating. Although, you know, sometimes grates and climbing on things can be grating. Oops. Oh, well, it's fine. We can get injured in this level. That's not an ish. We just need to not destroy an enemy, so that's fine. I was about to reset because you can do this level in one run. I'm not sure if I'll manage to pull it off. I was just getting like a vibe that like, is there a secret map there? I don't have it on my notes, but could my notes be wrong? I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Who notes? Nice. So here is the best enemy name in the entire video game, the Venus Guy Trap. Oh, and I got eaten because I jumped bad. But that, you know, that's fine. You know, we need to show off. Oh, why am I not? Oh, we got to shake to get out. I was like, why is it not letting me out? You got to shake to get out. That's why. So the Venus Guy Trap, pretty simple. You stand on it, and eventually it'll close. If you jump when the spikes come out, you won't get eaten. Which unfortunately for me, I was sitting there like, oh, you know, it'll eat me, and then I'll let go, and it kept going. I was like, oh, well, it's continuing to eat me. So I hit 1 and 2, and nothing happened, and I began to panic, like, does it just do a ton of damage? And then I remembered, the name of the video game is Wario Land Shake It, so I shook it. So the Venus Guy Traps are interesting. There's a few variations on them. These red ones, you know, they have a bit of delay when you step on them. There's the dead ones that don't, they're dead. They're just kind of there to sit up and I guess let you know, hey, you can stand on these to kind of get you experimenting with them, I suppose. We need to be careful of this drill. Well, we need to be careful of the drill dozer because we don't want to get hurt. But A, I've already been very badly injured, and B, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to move this bandanaire out of the way so we can make gangway for the Gangplank Galleon gang. I said gangway and then was like, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say here is use the max fastosity dasherator, dash into a rope on a track, and it goes. That's the thing. Oh, here there's purple Venus Guy Traps. They close immediately, so you want to be careful of those ones because you know they'll if they shoot you, it's gonna hurt, etc., etc. I feel like I say that a lot, so probably should stop saying it. But you know, I believe we should all keep the DK rap in our hearts. And I'm just gonna move these boys out of our way so you know we can slide down and get that coin. I'm not sure how important it is. Oh well, I mean it worked so fine. Boy, I sure hope I wasn't in the middle of saying something important because any thoughts I had from the previous when I had to cut away are gone. So yeah, the purple one, it just closes immediately. So you gotta be careful with that. Uh-oh. Well, I was about to say we missed a treasure, but you know, it's impossible to know if you missed a treasure since sometimes the treasure layouts can be a little bit strange. Does it wait for you to leave before? Yeah, it waits for you to leave before it goes back up. And not that it's too important, but I'm just gonna go ahead and come back up here so we can have another shot at this coin. So you'll wave around on these, which can make it a little difficult to collect like lines of coins that will show up. So you know, sometimes you just gotta take another crack at it and just hope for the best. And just checking down here, make sure there's nothing super important we're missing out on. And I'm giving these Bandoneros probably a little more respect than they deserve. And I saw a thing we won over there, so we'll just come back this way and we'll just jump immediately. And then, yeah, there we go. Here we go. And here's the second treasure. So we no longer have to worry about our lot in life and, you know, whether we're going to get the second treasure. Just luckily, you know, it was in a strange place. And that mouse is very good. Just a good, confident mouse who is, you know, the pupil of the legendary Pied Piper. So, of course, they would want to be, you know, a little cocky because, you know, they can command themselves in children or something. The Pied Piper does one of those where it's like, is the Pied Piper the one where it was like the story about like, hey, don't fuck over freelancers? I think that's the Pied Piper. Yeah, because the Pied Piper showed up and got rid of the mice, and then they didn't pay him, and then he said, well, damn, I'm going to get rid of the big mice, aka children. And everyone was like, well, no one really calls children the big mice, but damn, I guess you're right. We shouldn't be shitty to freelancers. And then everybody learned that lesson forever, and nobody was shitty anymore, and capitalism was demolished, or something. You know how it goes. It's always something like that. And I just wanted to check, make sure that there was, you know, nothing crack-a-lacking over there, because there are some coins. But luckily, we have made it to the end of the level. We are safe. There's a max velocity dash raider in there. Let's go ahead and just move this guy out of the way. I'm not exactly sure what kind of routing we're going to take here, because we still need, you know, 1,300 more coins. We got to get out of here quickly, but it is possible to do all in one run. So, you know, we'll see if I can be... he just walked straight past me. Well, that's fine, because I'm not too worried about that, because I think what we want to do here... And by that I mean I actually have no idea about this route, so we're gonna play it by ear. I feel like there's a diamond. Oh, if we hit that, we stop. I should have remembered that. So we should follow the coins. The trail of coins is probably the way we're supposed to go, huh? You know. Sometimes video games are designed in such a way to help you and you know, illustrate what you should be doing. And you know, sometimes your brain will be like, hey, let me help you with that one. Is there water beneath us? No, there's not water beneath us. Either that or, you know, because the Bandonero went off screen, it didn't die, but I'm willing to bet that there's just not water underneath us, because I'm pretty sure the game's pretty good about tracking enemies being off screen and such, so it's probably just, you know, living a good life down there, and even if it's not, I mean, it's not our problem. We just wanted to not defeat him, you know, we're not here to, here, actually, before I give up, I'm just going to practice this, make sure we can get back up this way, you know, because I could just sit here and just reset immediately, but what we want to do is make sure I am capable of this jump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how far I need to run back to get the jump. And I'm holding the D-pad in the other direction, like as soon as I jump into the air, just so like Wario will turn. Okay, so we need to hit that like at the edge of that. Okay, so that's good to know. I probably should like give a run through of the level so I can kind of get the route down in my head, because we're trying to get into the part of the game where a lot of the levels like stick out less in my brain, just because there's so many levels in the video game, and there's so many video games in my brain, and I didn't move the Bandonero out of my way. So you know what, we're just gonna give this one this level a 1-2 shot, just see where it goes. You know, just run through. I don't think we're going to hit time for this, but you know, we're gonna practice it. Practice the run, see where it gets us, and just, you know, I'll learn lessons along the way about what we should and should not be doing. Okay, so we have all the treasures, so we don't need to worry about that. What we do need to be on the lookout for is not running into enemies like that. What we do need to be on the lookout for is not running into enemies like that or like that. And we also need, how do we get more money? I think there is I'm pretty sure there's a diamond near the end here. Oh, it's not a diamond. Man, this one's going to be rough, huh? To not hit any enemies. Since we can do this in one run, I'm not going to like exit the level. I mean, we could potentially break this up into two. Oh, okay, so there's the diamond I was thinking of. And what does that put us at? 52,000. We're not actually that short on time. But the problem we're currently having is I destroyed a lot of enemies along the way. So even though I kind of have an idea of what the route looks like now, the problem is, how can this without destroying all those good friends that we've met along the way? We did it. We did it. We're good. We did it. Yes. Fuck. I'm not even done with the recording. We've been an hour into the recording, and we're just getting to the second level. But hey, y'all, we're back. We're back in business. It's time to play more Wario Land. We did it all in one run, and it only took me an hour. Hey, y'all. We're in the good shit. It's Windbreak Bay. It's a Subwarine level. It's time to talk about some shit, and now I'm super glad that I planned this out the way I did, because there are 3 Subwarine levels in the game. The first one, the entry one, so we can talk about... Oh, I need to hold the Wiimote right. I can't wave it around wildly anymore, because we're playing the video game again. This Subwarine level, we're going to talk about lore, we're going to talk about story, and I'm so glad, because we are an hour... While enthusiastic, I was a bit incomprehensible babbling about the Wario, and perhaps someone babbling about lore incomprehensibly on a YouTube video is the optimal way to consume lore, but not today, not here. The Wario deserves more love than incomprehensible babbling on a YouTube video. So here is comprehensible babbling, but before we get to that, I want to talk about Windbreak Bay. So Windbreak Bay may be my least favorite Subwarine level. It's very maze-like, there's a lot of branching paths. It was very difficult to figure out how I should route this. You can do it in 2 runs if you're careful. I wasn't playing optimally, we'll say at this point, after 47 minutes of Ropey Jungle, so I took 3 cracks at it to get it all done. But I'll show y'all my routes. Not that they're great, I guess. Although I suppose you could break it down into 2 routes, even looking at my video. It's just I didn't do a great job with the middle mission of collecting 10 golden coins at once, so we'll be doing that one at the very end. Windbreak Bay. My least favorite Subwarine level, so it probably means it's my least favorite level in the game, because Subwarine stuff is my least favorite stuff in the game, but it is an incredibly pretty level with the, the evening colors, the oranges, the purples. It looks so damn nice that I cannot be mad at it. I didn't realize that it was probably my least favorite level in the game until, I started, discussing this, because then I was like, oh damn, this is probably my least favorite level in the game, even though it looks very nice. And Windbreak Bay, you gotta get a fart joke in there. It's kind of Wario's thing now, and Windbreak Bay is pretty funny, so I will give them that. So it's time to discuss Wario. Break out this handy chart I'm providing, because it's gonna get wild. So the Wario timeline begins with the Mario timeline, but we're not going to worry about the Mario timeline because the stupid Mario trancing around his stupid adventures thinks he's so great. We're not worried about it. However, I will discuss that the sports games happen around the same time as Super Mario 64 DS, in which Mario and Wario still have a pretty friendly relationship, and they're more keen to going out golfing on the weekends or going karting on Saturday with the kids. Although there are the antagonistic sports games like Power Tennis and Aces where Wario feels the need of a dastardly villain to try and defeat the stupid Mario, which happen more near the end, which leads into the beginning of the Wario timeline in earnest, with Mario and Wario tired of the goody-goodies, all of the goody-goodies who are Mario's friends, and that stupid clinger-on, that, ooh, I think I'm so great, I'm like your partner or something guy who, who I'm talking about, always... clogging up our style, hanging around, sick of them. Wario decides he's going to deal with this problem in a non-violent bucket-based solution in which he does something with a bucket and Mario happens as well. We're not worried about if that works or not. That's not important. The idea is Wario has his plane, the Bulldog. And from there, after that may or may not work, he decides he's going to go on a vacation. So he flies on his Bulldog to the Amazon, and Virtual Boy Wario Land happens, in which Wario discovers his love for acquiring treasures via lands, going on adventures, trouncing and pouncing, punching and fighting, putting on hats from time to time. He discovers it's great. So the game does leave... The game does end with you leaving the Amazon without the Bulldog, but that's not important because you get treasure in that game, and using that treasure, Wario buys another one, crashes it, gets stuck in a music box, kills God, and escapes. It's Wario Land 3. So Wario Land 3 has a branching branching timeline. The timeline branches here. So the first one, Wario gets lost in the woods and decides he's very bored in the woods and begins puzzle games and becomes a puzzle master beginning Wario's Woods. Now this timeline is this path of the timeline is non-canon, because there's no way a pitiful Toad could ever defeat the big man himself. So non-canon. But while we're in a non-canon timeline, if Wario was to be defeated by a Toad, he'd probably go home and just chill watching TV for a long time, and then one day decide to invent the perfect VR device, and then decide to chill on TV instead. Wario Master of Disguise. It's not canon. I'm sorry, people who like that game, but it's not canon. So now we're going to jet back to the canon timeline, in which, coming off of Wario Land 3, Wario is... he's just left the music box. He has all his treasures. He still gets lost in the woods. He cannot escape the woods. But unlike the Wario Woods timeline, he finds a portal to Bomberman Land, in which he goes there, robs the Bomberman blind, and then he just goes. He finds his way back to the city, baby, with money. In which Wario Land 4 happens, and Wario goes on a perfect adventure. Now, during his perfect adventure, there's a what if scenario. It's not non-canon, but it's a it's a canon what if. It does, it may have happened, may have not happened. Who knows? With Densetsu no Starfy 3, in which, Wario finds a portal to Starfy World or whatever. I don't know. I didn't play it. So, it's a what if thing. So, Wario pilfers 12 treasures with incredible value, goes home to the city, goes on a date with 2 women at once. He takes them to a great night on the town on his hover car, and he lifts them with his very strong biceps. It's a great date. They all have a wonderful time. But here is where the timeline splits once more. So, our first one is the investment timeline. Wario invests the money that he got from the Golden Pyramid into a carnival, and in this carnival is where DDR Mario Mix happens. Well, it's not where the entire game happens, but Mario and or Luigi go to Wario's carnival, and they are defeated by Wario in a dance-off which begins DDR Wario Mix. So after defeating them, he gets his own DDR game. It's great. So with the money, from his investments into the carnival and from DDR Wario Mix, from Wario Land 4, the WarioWare series begins. So he takes his ROI and he begins a game studio in which he decides he is going to destroy capitalism from the inside by becoming a class traitor to the capitalists. He will pretend to be the capitalists so he can destroy it from the inside. And also he founds Diamond City. There's nothing to say he didn't do it, so I'm saying he did it. So then, he has a big important business, a big important job to destroy capitalism before, somebody burns the Amazon down. Who could say? But he needs a break from time to time. So this is where Smash happens. Every once in a while, Wario will take a break to punch Mario in the face to relieve a little stress. But this is also where Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games happen. So Wario takes a break from punching Mario in the face to instead punch him in a race. It just makes sense, and these kind of just all loop around. Time is fake. Who cares? So that's the end of that timeline. From there, we get to the revenge timeline, and this is my personal favorite timeline. So, using the money that he earned from the Golden Pyramid, Wario decides he's gonna show Mario what for. Also in this one we're doing money or whatever. I'm sure you figured it out. But he decides he's gonna show Mario what for, and he hires Tatonga or whatever the hell to distract the stupid Mario. Super Mario Land happens. And then Super Mario Land 2, Wario frees Mario Land from the tyranny of the stupid Mario and ultimately murders Mario and his former castle. So from here, Wario Land happens, having turned Mario's castle into free public housing, I should say. I'm not sure if public housing is always free, but free public housing to the denizens of the former Mario Land, now Wario Land. He decides, hey, I want another castle so I can do more free public housing. So he goes and he does that, the Wario Land stuff. Here we meet Captain Syrup, and we also see the husk of Mario. Like I said, Wario murdered Mario in Super Mario Land 2. Here we see the husk of the stupid Mario having been revived by a grieving a grieving Luigi, who got a little too into the occult stuff in Luigi's Mansion, if you know what I mean. Not that you can see his propensity for the occult, I'm saying. Not that Luigi's Mansion happened before this, because Mario was murdered and all. Is what I'm saying. So from there, the stupid Mario comes in. He steals the big Golden Peach statue that was Wario's rightfully. He earned it. He worked really hard for it, and that was really shitty of him to steal it. So from here, Wario Land 2 happens. Wario owns Captain Syrup so hard she decides to take a 10-year-long nap and eject herself from this timeline because she is so embarrassed. And from there, Wario, I almost said Wario Land 2 like that was his name. From there, Wario, he has his castle filled with cursed pirate treasure. Uh-oh, the black diamonds in there, Wario World happens. And from here, there's a little mini split in the timeline depending on what kind of ending you get in Wario World. So if you get a good ending where Wario has a castle, it just loops and Wario Land 2 happens again and it just keeps going back and forth forever. But if you get an ending where Wario doesn't have a castle, he's, in a jungle, it would seem. Uh-oh, that's the Amazon. It loops back to Virtual Boy Wario Land, baby, restarting and refreshing the timeline. And from in here, we can get into the final chime line, the chill chime line, in which Wario took all of his treasure and he just kind of chilled in his city, in his garage. I need to replace the batteries in my Wiimote for the next episode. And this is where Wario Land Shake It / the Shake Dimension / Shake / Shaking happens, where Wario just kind of chills. Captain Syrup had ejected herself to this timeline. They pal around a bit. They do some wacky hijinks off camera before the events of this game, and then the events of this game happen. So the plot of Wario Land Shake It is pretty simple. There's an interdimensional tyrant, the Shake King. It doesn't seem like he belongs. I think they refer to him as an invader, and I'm not sure, but he's the Shake King in the Shake Dimension, so he probably belongs in the Shake Dimension, and he's just invading on whatever Queen Morelda's turf is. And then, Captain Syrup shows up, like, hey, Wario, come help. Well, she doesn't do that. She gets the Murphle to, hey, Wario, come help, please. Queen Morelda and the Murphles need your help. Hey, there's treasure, please help. And then he does. It's a pretty simple story, but as you can see, the Wario of Wario, very complex. There's a lot going on for it, and just because a single piece doesn't have a lot going on for it doesn't mean that the entire entity itself isn't a complicated beast that it is. And this is the route that you want to take if you want to get the gold coins. The key to getting these gold coins is going after the tub subs. They give 3 gold coins every time. Taking this bottom route, you get to see a lot of them. It gives you a good chance to get them. There are 3 silver ones who will pop up right here. Which is also a good chance since there's 9 golden coins possible there, but I could never seem to get them, but I kind of lucked out going the route I did. But you can kind of coattail this into getting treasure, etc., etc. So that's the timeline. A Mario Party can happen at any time because it's a chaotic event that has no bounds, no laws, so be careful. And a potential Wario Land 5, where could it go? Who knows? I don't know. Only time will tell. So that's the episode. But before we end, we must read the treasures list. Piranha dentures, sturdily made dentures that can bite through the hardest of peanut brittles. Pied Piper's pupil, the rat learned from the best, and no one can resist his song. Eye of the storm, tired of the rain, just poke this treasure right in the eye, and it's nothing but blue skies. Lanternfish, this poor fish, no one told it that paper lanterns don't work underwater. Ammonightless, probably like the Pokemon. Ammonightless shell. There used to be a cool creature living in this thing, but it's gone now. Lame. Swine pearls. Why put one before the other? It's a good joke, swine pearls.